Today, I am going to talk about the 4 pillars of one Buddhist doctrine. 4 pillars are the 4 fundamental principles, of which I will pick only the first one, that is right enlightenment or correct enlightenment and right practice. I'm going to talk about that today. There are 3 Dharma seals of the Buddha's teaching, Dharma seals, which are the seal of suffering. Everything is a suffering in the world. The first seal of the Dharma. Second is everything is selfless. That is, nothing has its own inherent existence. And the third is nothing is permanent. Everything is momentary. Nothing is permanent. Later it is added that 4 Dharma seals of the Buddha, which includes nirvana and quiet, nirvana and quiet annihilation, nirvana. And the Buddha's teaching is summarized in terms of the 4 noble truths, which is mainly concerned on the suffering and cessation of suffering. So Buddha's main purpose is to show how sentient beings can deliver themselves from the sea of misery. And there are enormous amount of Buddhist scriptures, but all of them are, if that is a Buddhism, is related to this 4-fold noble truth, that is suffering, cause of suffering, and the cessation of suffering, and the path through which you can stop the suffering and realize a nirvana. That's the Buddha's main teaching. Whatever that is Buddhism in all those enormous publications of the scriptures, they are all concerned with sufferings, dukkha. So it sounds quite gloomy and pessimistic why Buddha started with the suffering, but he was realistic. He saw all the sentient beings are suffering in the sea of misery, and he said that all the suffering is caused by desire, vehement desire, in human mind. And the Eightfold Noble Path shows how you can deliver yourself from the sea of misery. Now, what is one Buddhist Dharma seal? One Buddhism. The nature of the one Buddhist doctrine should be understood in the goal and the purpose of the founder of one Buddhism, Sotaesan. And what was his goal? Why did he open a new Buddhist order? When he was enlightened in 1916, he also was concerned about the suffering of the world. He said, deliverance of all the sentient beings, the same ideal of of the Buddha, deliverance of all sentient beings from the sea of misery. And the second is to cure the world of moral ills. The world is full of moral ills, and in a sense, the history of humankind is simply a history of those misery, war among nations. Throughout the human history, everywhere, all over the world, history of humankind is simply history of wars. And in recent times, we had World War I, World War II, and we had the Korean War and the Vietnam War, and the war is still going on. Still going on. In the 21st century, with this glaring material civilization and material convenience, still war is going on, and the thousands are being killed. In addition to that, we have natural disasters like earthquakes, tornadoes, and cyclones and hurricanes or typhoon, which kills thousands and thousands. The world is simply full of this misery. Why there are such things as like tornadoes, hurricanes, and so on, we don't have really good answer or explanations. And we should not jump to conclude that it's because of our human evil actions and so on as the result of evil actions. We should not say that. We just don't know. Even if that is true, I mean, it's not explainable. Now, we are not concerned with that. We are only concerned the misery caused by human evils. Okay? So, Grandmaster Sotaesan was concerned to show how human beings can be delivered from the sea of misery. And especially at the turn of the 20th century, when Korea was still almost like in the primitive stage of human history, I mean, as far as the material civilization is concerned. But he said, in the near future, human beings will be enslaved to the material power, material civilization, which now about 100 years after, or 90 years now, was after his declaration that what he said is being proved to be true. You know, the material power today. And I don't have to use any philosophical argument to prove the truth of what Grandmaster Sotaesan said about the power of material, harsh material power. So his goal, Grandmaster Sotaesan's goal, is to deliver sentient beings from the sea of misery, and the other goal is to cure the world of moral ills. Moral ills are mainly hatred, resentment, which is the cause of all the troubles today between nations, between societies. Hatred and of course the greed, which is one of the causes of all human misery.